Okay. Okay, yeah. Listen, I love you. I love you, but I think I have to put you away for good. I'm like still processing this. We'll get into the age thing. Cover that. This back to the statement that I find myself saying all the time. I've never heard a bad gospel performance. I've never heard a mediocre gospel performance. I've never heard anything less than 110% conviction and commitment, and he's 8. He's 8 years old. There are some technical, really, really good things that are going on. Obviously, that's not the point of the performance, but it's worth talking about so we can appreciate some of the crazy skill. This has become a lot more popular, this little sound. You raise the larynx. Actually, the first time I heard it done like a lot and often was Jasmine, and I think her NPR Tiny Desk. You know, she put her head back and then like the larynx would go up, and she intentionally droops the soft palate, and it's not like it's not as ergonomic, right? It's not as efficient, but it has a very distinct sound. It sounds very vulnerable. And then for him to do that and then go into these incredible belts where the vowels are super bright, you have a coordination here. This isn't like one sound, right? This is an individual offering a really, really dynamic performance, and he's 8. And of course, it does not escape me that So let's get into the age thing now, okay? I'm not trying to make this talent shows are bad. I'm not trying to make this a thing about race. It's not my place to do that. But I want to talk about child prodigies versus child prodigies. I'm not going to like point out an individual that came off of one of the talent shows. There's been many, and it would just be weird for a grown adult to be like, it's time to drag a 13-year-old who was on a TV show, probably being taken away advantage of by their parents. But there's this trend in a lot of the competition shows where they'll have young girls singing opera. And I'll get to why it's in quotations, okay? It sounds like it would be opera, because on the microphone it sounds good. But the problem with people pushing specifically young girls, to do that sound is that you're training dysfunction. Little girls do not have their vocal folds fully touching yet, so that's why they get this really lovely flute-like sound. So when you try to make them sound big, what you end up doing is you end up training people to force their vocal folds together to create that sound, and then they swallow as much as humanly possible to overly darken their voice. And there are consequences. I cannot name a single singer that got that opportunity and has been made relevant. Now, this is not the case for this boy. Belting technique is very, very, very different in what it's trying to accomplish and what it does. Okay? So, this is healthy. I don't think I need to, it's weird to feel like I need to say it's healthy. Like, this shouldn't be controversial, but I get told all the time that people who grew up singing this stuff get told that, well, if you want to sing classical, you can't, no, get rid of it. Like, no, this is, first of all, he has all of the makings of a classical technique. Okay? He is able to achieve vibrato comfortably and is kind of like mid-range while adding the inefficiencies that I talked about, right? The false folds coming in, the high larynx, the kind of that crooning, like little soft palate thing. Actually, that's kind of the opposite of crooning. It's the soft palates are up in crooning. Anyway, so he's really, really comfortable in classical stylings. Belting is harder. It is. It's way more extreme. When you belt, this is how it goes. This is how it goes down. Okay. When you sing classically, this cartilage, the thyroid cartilage, tilts downward, and that stretches out the vocal folds. Okay. When you tilt the cricoid cartilage, this is belting, all of this kind of moves with it. And so what you get are shorter and thicker vocal folds. To pull off belting, you need insanely little air. And that is why this is not bad for a young singer who has control over their air. Okay? The way that you push your voice works this way. So when you sing and you allow air to pass through the vocal folds, they come together through what's called the Bernoulli effect. So there's not much. There are muscles like the arytenoids and stuff that can help bring the folds together, but it is a significant portion. Get two pieces of paper here. Let's just do this. So the Bernoulli effect is when you put air. There we go. You see how they kind of come together? Not the ideal paper for that, but that's the concept. You move air, and what ends up happening is that the air pressure on the outside becomes greater than the air pressure in the middle, and so nature kind of pours a vacuum, boom, your folds come close together, okay? So the problem with the fake classical technique thing that's big on the competition shows, right? You thicken the folds with a lot of air, and then you do everything you can to keep them together. You lower the larynx by shoving the tongue back. You do everything. Because if you don't, you're going to crack. So that's why that's bad. And that's why it's different from belting. Because in belting, there we go. In belting, you're already shortening the folds. And the precision to be able to belt in the way that this little boy did, and probably still does, is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly precise. So there, yeah. I'm gonna quit my